Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this latest all-new edition of the Milford Informer. I am your host, Tim Coet. September has arrived, kids here in Milford are back in school, and we are back to our normal schedule. From here on out, you can catch all new editions of the Milford Informer every Friday night. And now let's get into what we have coming up tonight. Here is this week's Top Stories Rundown. Tonight, we'll give you an opportunity to meet the new principal over at Woodland Elementary School, and we'll also provide a full walkthrough of the brand new state-of-the-art Woodland facility. Also tonight, find out how you can help the Milford Area Special Olympics as they get set to host their most important fundraising event of the year. And later in sports, we'll tell you how one of Milford High School's most legendary coaches is making a triumphant return to the sidelines. It was back in the spring of 2015 that the town first broke ground on the new Woodland School building project. Roughly a year ago, construction workers placed the final beam of the building's framework, and finally, this past Wednesday, the newly completed Woodland Elementary School opened its doors to students. Not only will Milford's 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders be treated to a brand new state-of-the-art learning facility, their school will be led by a new principal in Timothy Kearnan. Mr. Kearnan was kind enough to sit down with me earlier this week to talk about taking the reins over at Woodland, and he also gave us an in-depth look at the new Woodland campus.
Hi, my name is Tim Kearnan. I'm the new principal at Woodland Elementary School. I've spent the last 15 years in Hopkinton. I'm starting my 20th year of teaching as an educator. Last 15 in Hopkinton, and my last 4 years have been as an administrator in Hopkinton. Last 2 as the principal of the Hopkins Elementary School, and I really loved Hopkinton. I really thought that it was the place I would, end my career. I loved the community. The people were fantastic. My staff was great. Loved the building, and I had no intentions and was not looking at all for any other position. And then I think it was about March or so that Craig Consigli was named the assistant superintendent, and obviously the position at Woodland was open. And it was one of those. I never expected to be interested in another position. Like I said, 2 years in Hopkinton as the principal, I was very happy there. Didn't expect that I would be interested, but when it became open, it was one of those things that I was surprised at how interested I was. The idea of coming to Milford and impacting my community, as I live in Milford now, and impacting my friends, and impacting my neighbors, and impacting my own family, and doing the job that I love to do, was just a draw that I couldn't pass up. The opportunity to open a brand new building is not one that somebody has very often in this field. We're not building school buildings left and right, so the opportunity to open a building was really, really exciting. And certainly as part of doing my homework about the position, researching the project, certainly. It was something that I was, keeping track of along the way as a resident, knowing that my kids would be coming to Milford. So it was something that I was familiar with, but then really digging a little bit deeper into the building was exciting. And then having gone through it, I'm glad I have to do this once, and it's not something I have to do every year. It's been a challenge, but it's been really exciting as well. It's just so well conceived. One of the 2 issues that most buildings and most educators have in the field is lack of time and lack of space. Well, the space issue has been taken care of here. The teaching spaces are great. There's spots that are flexible for flexible learning, which is really where our field is headed. We have to have places where we can have small groups of kids to provide interventions or enrichments. We have a lot of specialists that are working with kids on whatever skills or concepts that they need support with. and we have the spaces to do that. We have the ability here to have some of our students that in many other districts would have to be outplaced in an out-of-district placement because of their disabilities. We can have them here in their hometown, in this building, with their friends, with their neighbors, and the space allows for that. The technology here is state-of-the-art, world-class technology here, where we're going to have Wi-Fi throughout the building, interactive whiteboards and projectors. We're going to have document cameras. We're going to have carts of Chromebooks for kids. So the technology here is going to allow us to provide for a 21st century education, with students collaborating in different places, different ways, using the tools that we provide them. It's just really energizing. We have the cafetorium, which is good. It's when people hear that term, not everyone's aware, that's a cafeteria and an auditorium all at once. So the cafetorium, it seats for lunch about 350, 400 kids. Full service kitchen, which Carla Tuttle and her team is very excited to take advantage of. So we have that space, and then there's a stage there at the other end of the cafetorium. And I've been getting a little bit of training from the lighting, the sound, and the audiovisual contractors and vendors that have installed all that stuff. And what they've all said is that we have a professional grade type of setup where you can put on a full Broadway show with the lighting, the sound, and the technology that we have available to us. Above on the second floor, ringing our cafetorium, are our visual and performing arts classrooms. So we have 3 full-size music classrooms that are all sound engineered for chorus and band and instrument play. They each have a small ensemble room for music lessons, instrument lessons. And then we also have 2 art rooms along that wing, a visual arts room, and then a room that's got a kiln in it for pottery and clay. So we have all kinds of opportunities as we're trying to educate the whole child. We have these great facilities for our arts department. The PE and wellness area is phenomenal as well. If you've ever been to the Woodland gym, our gym is now, our main gym is now state-of-the-art, full-size gym. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous facility. And right next to it, or right behind it, is a wellness center, which is basically another gym area. It's not quite a full-size gym, but it's got a rock wall, great facility that we can use as a classroom space, but one of the ways that we envision using it is when we're doing units of instruction that use equipment that's maybe a little more challenging to break down and set up every day and every night. We can use that space to set it up there, leave it there, and still have access to that gym. So after school, if we have basketball practice or some other event after school, we're not breaking down and setting up all that equipment day in and day out. We can leave it in the wellness area and still have access to the gym. We have a media room on the second floor, which is basically like it's almost like a theater room with a nice full-size TV there for any types of videos that classrooms are showing, or whatever purpose that we have. We have an amphitheater on the second floor as well, which was a great space, teaching space, whether it's for a read aloud or just as a different kind of setting for kids. Like I mentioned earlier, the flexible classroom spaces and settings that we have throughout the building allows for teachers to get kids up, get them moving, put them in different environments, and sometimes just taking a kid from the classroom to a spot across the hall is energizing and motivating and engaging to them. The lesson might be no different in those 2 spaces, but sometimes just that movement and having a different atmosphere, a different energy around you changes things for kids, and we have the ability to do that. The playground space behind our building and around our building is phenomenal. It's by far the best playground in town, which I'm sure many families will take advantage of after school hours or on the weekends. We have phenomenal equipment out there, which is, when we look out there, we say, how could you not want to be a kid and playing on this playground? It's just amazing to be out there. Basketball courts on the side of the building as well. We'll have some field space once, this drought, if it ever ends, if we're able to actually grow some grass, we'll have some spots for kids to run and play soccer or whatever. And then where the old building was, we're building a new athletic field, which I believe is designated for soccer and maybe lacrosse, with a parking lot over there, so we'll have space over there if we ever needed it. But the whole campus of Woodland is really transforming. I know everyone's really excited about this building, but as we finally get things in motion with all of our kids coming in and out of the building, and we have lots of processes and plans and logistics and systems, we got those all worked out, but we know that likely what's going to have to happen is we're going to have to tweak and change some of those as we settle into some of our routines. The best laid plans are always changed from time to time, so as we kind of move in and get this school year started, I'm sure there's going to be some things that are changing and evolving as we find the new Woodland in the new Woodland way. That's one thing I would love to share with our families. And then the second thing is for our Woodland families, I communicate very often and very frequently using the technology that I have available. So I leverage email and our website quite a bit. If they're not signed up for our email, please, I encourage them to send us their email addresses, so that way whenever I send out any kind of updates or news or whatever I do, just they'll be able to get all that information. If they don't want the email, they can just check out our website. I post everything there.
In a few weeks, the Milford Special Olympics will be renewing an annual tradition, one that is vitally important to the organization's ability to fund their various projects that help enrich the lives of kids and young adults with special needs. To find out all of the details on this major upcoming event, I spoke with the director of the Milford Area Special Olympics, Jen Walsh.
Runners on your mark.
Since the Milford Special Olympics has grown so much, over the past 20 years, we now have 300 athletes. I was looking for an event that, not to do so many small fundraisers, to try and do bigger ones so that we didn't have to do fundraisers so often. Frank Nealon came to me and said, how about a road race? And then he walked through it, step by step, he walked through it with me. And we got it going off the ground. The first year we only had about 75 runners, and now we have probably between, it's a run and walk, so we have between 150 and 200 every year. It's a serious race for some people. We do have both because it's become known as a race where we have a really good team to the Tri-Valley Front Runners that does the timing and helps with the event. So it's become an official event for a lot of people. So we do have a lot of serious runners. But then we have people in wheelchairs, people pushing carriages and running with their needs dogs and all sorts of people. We do have a fun run every year for the younger ones. David Morganelli wanted to start that a while ago, so we're keeping it going in his honor. And it's for anyone under 10 that would like to do their own road race before we kick off the big race at 9. So the fun run is at 8:30, and every participant receives a medal at the end of the race. The course goes out the front of the high school and down towards Congress Street, and then up Congress Street, North Vine, to Highland, and back down West Fountain back into the back of the gym. It's at Milford High School. Registration is in the back by the gymnasium on the outside. Registration starts at 8. The fun runs at 8:30, and then the big race and walk is at 9 o'clock. And we usually, the race itself and walk is usually wrapped up by 10:15, and then we do awards and raffles and things like that. If you register now before the race, it doesn't cost as much. If you register the day of, it's a little bit more. And so for anyone over 70, it's free, and it's $20 if you register the day of. We have some great raffle prizes this year, a lot of nice donations from Bose, and then we have some really nice etched Patriots mugs and jewelry and a lot of nice donations to raffle off. And then we do awards based on age. So it starts under 20, 20 plus, 30 plus, 40, and it goes up like that. So there's an award to each female and male in each category, and then there's an overall winner of the race. So the registration, if you go to the Milford Community Use website, you can go to our special recreation page and everything's there. You can register online, or you can print off the form and mail it into the Milford High School. We have been growing our unified sports program, which is for students with and without disabilities to compete together. We have 2 teams at the high school now. We're looking to expand on that, and we're looking to expand, on all of our unified sports. We have in high school, and then we have community programs that are unified. So that's where we need to put our funds. I would love everybody to come down and support our local Special Olympics programs. And it is Saturday, September 17th. The fun run for the kids under 10 is at 8:30. The big road race and walk is at 9 at the Milford High School Gymnasium. And we would love to see everybody there. Thank you.
Back in the early 70s, a young and energetic teacher over at Milford High School began the first ever girls volleyball program in school history. In the years that followed, that fledgling program quickly became a dynasty, collecting 13 district titles from the late 70s to the mid-90s. During that time, that same passionate, driven coach launched a boys volleyball program in Milford that also gained a reputation as one of the powerhouse teams in the state. That coach was not only responsible for beating countless opponents on the court, she also managed to successfully beat cancer twice. That coach, of course, is none other than Hall of Famer Linda Zacchilli. Now, over 4 decades after first bringing the sport of volleyball to Milford High School, Coach Zacchilli has once again taken over head coaching duties for the girls' team, hoping to bring the program back to the level of excellence it enjoyed for so long.
I started this program, as you know, back in '74, 2 years after I started teaching here in Milford, and we built kind of a dynasty. We've won multiple championships in the league at the district level, and many times have made the Final Four and the finals of the state championship. And when I stepped down 4 years ago, I was really ready to step down. I had only planned on staying with the boys program, which I started 10 years after the girls, for a couple of more years through the 2013 season. And then I was hoping that to step down completely from coaching. But my son at the time, who was my assistant, decided he wasn't going to be able to take over the program because he's in Ashland. So I stuck around for a couple of more years and worked with the boys for 2 more years, and brought Andy Mainini in to help me. And this past year, I stepped out of that role, and in the interim of me leaving 4 years ago, the girls program was struggling a little bit. We had always, from '74 right up until 4 years ago when I stepped down, there was never a year that we didn't qualify for tournaments. So it was like an expectation. We had a winning culture. We expected to be there. The girls all had positive attitudes. This is what we wanted to do. We set our goals high and we did it. And then out of the 4 years since I've left, we've only qualified for the tournament 1 out of the 4 years. And I felt like the program was starting to slip a little, and we had lots of talent, and we should have, in my opinion, been more competitive. And when I stepped down from the boys program, and I was healthy again, because I've struggled with health issues, my husband said, "What do you think about maybe going back with the girls?" And I thought, that's not too bad of an idea. There are some things I've missed coaching the girls. I mean, it's completely different coaching girls and boys. And so some of the things that I used to do with my girls are not things that you would normally do with boys. And so there were some things that I missed, and I felt like I needed to try to right the ship a little bit, and try to bring a winning culture back to Milford volleyball. I'll tell you, the sport has changed considerably since the early '70s when I started, because we went to rally scoring. Even the basic part of the game. The strategic part of the game has changed considerably. And the kids that you coach have changed. The volleyball community as a whole has changed. Parent involvement is completely different than it was back in the early 70s. You really got parents to come to the matches, and now they're all there, and they have a lot of input. I think the hardest thing, the biggest challenge this year is for me to get to know my players and for them to feel comfortable with me. In the past, when you're a varsity coach, you see the girls coming through from freshman, sophomore. By the time they get to you, you have a pretty clear picture of what they bring to the program, and you've gotten to know them as people. So I've missed out on that part of it, and they don't know me either. And so I think that's going to take a little bit of time for them to get to know me. And they know what my expectations are. I've made that very clear, but they don't know me as a person, and I don't know each of them as individual people, just as volleyball players. And so it's challenging, but I think at the same time, it's something I'm looking forward to get to know them. They seem like just a great group of girls. They're bringing a lot of energy this year to the season. There's no reason why they can't be successful now. This year, we probably had our biggest turnout ever in the history of Milford volleyball. So we had 63 players show up and try out for the program, 25 alone at the freshman level. So that says a lot, and I think we have a lot of potential down below. I think with this particular group, they're very upbeat, and they're willing to work hard, and they know what it's going to take, and they want it. I mean, this group wants to be there. So, I have a lot of faith in these kids. It's just a matter of, one of my biggest problems, and I doubt if many coaches have this problem, is where to play them on the court. That's how versatile the group is. Like, where is our team going to benefit the most from where I place these kids? When you have hitters that can play any one of the three positions, or so that's a good problem to have. And I have a lot of depth, which on many of these teams that have been successful, I didn't have even anywhere near the depth that I have this year. So I have a lot of depth. There are a lot of kids I can get out there. I think I'm going to have 10 people in my starting rotation. That I've never had that, ever. So those are good problems to have. It's pretty exciting. It's nice to be back. So I don't know how long I'll be back, but for the time being, I'm back. And I'm loving it so far.
It should be an exciting year for girls volleyball over at MHS, and it should also be a great season of fall sports in general. Here at Milford TV, we are getting ready to bring you more sports coverage than ever. We will officially kick things off a week from tonight when the Scarlet Hawks football team plays their season opener at home against non-conference rival Marlborough. We will also be covering home games for girls volleyball as well as boys and girls soccer throughout the season. Next week, we hope to bring you a season preview for the girls soccer team, and we're also hopeful to make our way over to the football field to get Coach Todd's take on the upcoming year for Milford football. As always, we will have full games available for viewing over on our educational channel as well as on our YouTube page. And speaking of YouTube, if you missed the announcement back during the summer, we want to remind everyone that you can now view full editions of the Milford Informer on YouTube. So if you don't have a chance to tune in on Milford TV during one of our airtimes Friday through Sunday, you can head to YouTube and search My Milford TV to get to our channel, and from there you will find all of our shows located in the Milford Informer playlist. And now let's check out this week's upcoming events. Calling all singers. Once again, the Greater Milford Community Chorus is looking for new members as they get set to begin their fall season. The GMCC rehearses every Wednesday evening over at Memorial Hall from 7:15 to 9:30 p.m. This season will culminate with a pair of performances on Saturday, December 3rd and Sunday, December 4th. If you are interested in becoming part of this exciting musical community, the GMCC will be holding open rehearsals on September 7th, 14th, and 21st. For more information on the group, you can log on to their website at www.greatermilfordcommunitychorus.org. Coming up on September 10th, St. Mary of the Assumption Church will be holding a 5K, as well as their fair Under the Stars. The 5K run walk will take place at 9 a.m. starting at Pheno Field. The race is dedicated to longtime parishioner Frank Nealon. The fair Under the Stars will also take place on September 10th. The fair promises plenty of food, music, and games for the entire family. The fair Under the Stars will be held directly across the street from the church and will take place from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. And attention MHS class of 1976. The class will be holding its 40th reunion coming up later this month. The reunion will be held on Saturday, September 24th at Scioli's, beginning at 6:30 p.m. Invitations will be sent out via U.S. mail, email, or social media in the coming weeks. If you have any questions about the upcoming reunion, please contact Ann Robichaud at the email address anr33@yahoo.com. That's all we have for you this week. Remember, as we get into this busy fall season, we want to be out in the community covering the news stories and events that are important to you. If you have an idea for a story, or if you know of an event happening in town, we encourage you to contact us at the studio. You can call us at our main studio line, or you can contact me directly by sending an email to news@milfordtv.net. Until next time, from all of us here at Milford TV, this is Tim Coette saying have a great week. So long, everybody.